Despite informing IRCC means you informed IRCC about your marital status, which basically means what you applied for your PR application. As in such cases, you cannot travel to Canada. And if your spouse is inadmissible to Canada for any reason, then you can also become inadmissible to Canada. Therefore, Mohammed says, I got my CoPR yesterday. The marital status has been updated incorrectly despite informing IRCC. Do I need to inform IRCC? Can I do that at port of entry? How long would it take to rectify if I inform IRCC? You need to first clarify a few things. Despite informing IRCC means you informed IRCC about your marital status, which basically means what you applied for your PR application as a single, and then you got married, and then you updated IRCC, but they have not updated your file. And that's why your CoPR is not reflecting. I'm hoping that is what the case is. In such cases, you cannot travel to Canada. You cannot get it rectified at the port of entry. You cannot take that chance because your spouse has not been added to your application yet. So while you have the CoPR, which is good, which basically means your application has been approved, you should continue to follow up with IRCC. You should continue to raise web form. If you have an email address, then send them the email and have them add your spouse to your application. They should, or they would have sent you certain forms to complete. You would have had to apply for your spouse's police clearance, medicals, should have paid the fee. Once you've done all of these steps, they would then add your spouse to your application. If you already have a CoPR, then you will receive another passport request, at which time you will send your passport, your spouse's passport. Your old CoPR will be cancelled, a new one will be issued, and a new PR visa will be issued to you. Only then can you travel to Canada. If you travel before that, then they will send you back. They will ask you to return back and update this and only then come back. And the reason for that is, under the immigration law, your spouses, if you are married and you're still not a permanent resident, then your spouse's inadmissibility also needs to be checked. And if your spouse is inadmissible to Canada for any reason, then you can also become inadmissible to Canada. Therefore, for your spouse's inadmissibilities not being checked and you come to Canada and you become a PR, then you will not be able to sponsor your spouse at a later date. You will just not be able to do it. So it's incredibly important. It's extremely important that you make sure that you add your spouse to your application before you arrive in Canada.